Hello all, my name is Piotr and I build RU guitars. I think it's the time to do the back plates, cavity covers. I managed to wrap them out without losing fingers. What I did was I used templates like I attempted before, but I also attached a piece of wood, like 2x4, to the top of it so I don't have to hold the template against the router bit. It was, and I slowed down a bit as well, so I was doing it very slowly, very shallow passes, and I used a binding channel router bit so that the overall shape of the overall size of the cover is 1.5 millimeter smaller than the template all around. And I did it because I'm planning on binding both covers, and I'm going to use the thin binding, the 1.5 millimeter binding, your usual one. There's nothing thin about it really. And 1.5 millimeter is the gap all around that I need to do that precisely. I managed to find a combination of a router bit and the bearing that gave me exactly 1.5 millimeter. I should have done that before I routed the body and the fretboard, but I didn't think that the bit that I bought was so imprecise, and it was 1.6 millimeter rather than 1.5 as advertised. So I guess the lesson here is buy your tools from reputable sources, or do it twice. I'm going to focus on this. What I need to do before I can work on those covers, I need to sand the back just a bit more because there are some scratches. I will keep using 80 grit because it's going so well, and then when this is done I can attach the big template and route out the ledge for the cover. And the same here, it's a Les Paul template. This is the one, and I'm going to use it to route out the ledge for this cavity and this cavity. I need to measure where exactly I want the cover to be, because it's not your typical place. I need to find the best spot for the cover that would not cause any issues with the little space that I have here on the edge, and would give the optimum support for the cover. So it needs to sit nicely and be supported all around. That shouldn't be very difficult because I still have enough space on the back to do that. I'm going to sand it back, and then I will take the router out of my router table and prepare for routing the covers ledge? What's the word for it? I don't know. Recess. That's much better. There's still some scratches because that was 80 grit and it's not a brand new sandpaper. I've used it before on the top and the back as well. So yeah, it's not perfect, but I will carry on sanding it down with higher grids once the recess is routed for both cavities. And to do that, I need to plan it. I need to see if this is viable, and I will be drawing with a pencil So I need to see if this line is doable. And it absolutely is. It's, well, at least 5 mil and 6 mil away from the edge. So it is perfect. This is what the cover will look like. I think it's spot on. I need to mark it now so I can attach the template with a masking tape on superglue. Get my router out and just do it. I'm only marking it very lightly. I don't want to dig into the back of the guitar. Yeah, that is perfect. And this is the switch cover here, which, well, the same thing. Perfect. Absolutely fantastic. Here I have a router bit that I bought for this very purpose. I got it from StewMag. It's a tiny little thing, and I got it specifically for routing cavity covers and stuff that needs to be shallow. It has a tiny bearing here, and the cutter is not very deep either. The cutter is 6 mil deep. The diameter is, yeah, like 6 mil as well. That doesn't actually matter as long as it can go around the curves, which it will do just fine. But I need to set up depth correctly. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to set it up flat first, drop it down to the level of the wood, locked it. Now it's sticking out as much as the depth of the template. And now I add 5 mil to the depth stop, which is this much. Lock it, and when I drop it down now, it gives me 5 mil from the level of the back. Very good. I will go very slow. I will use the final depth straight away and take shallow passes all around instead of taking millimeter or a couple millimeters at a time and going deeper and deeper. I can go all the way in. The cutter will allow it, and just take shallow passes around. Right, so you can see the recess here is routed flush with the template. It's a very nice and very smooth surface. This router bit is new and it's great. Let's see how deep that is. It's 5.5 mil deep. So I missed the mark with the depth stop. I'm worried about that. 5.5 millimeters is perfect. Also, I'll still be sanding the back, so yeah. So that's the cavity with the ledge routed. That looks perfect. I'm really happy with how crisp lines are and how smooth that surface is. That router bit is amazing. I'm happy with it. I'm going to take the template off and align this side. Okay, let's do it. Okay, so both cavities have the recess for the cover now routed. If I take the template off, we can have a look at what it actually looks like. So this is the round cover, switch cover. There's a gap because there will be binding all around it, but if I put the template in, it fits in perfectly. Yeah, that's amazing. And for the control cavity, same here, fits in perfectly. The cover will be this, and with the switch cover, that's what it's going to look like. Only this will be black, and there will be binding around them. So with these two routed, I think I can leave the body aside for a moment. I'll just do some measurements. It's 5.5. And the covers are at the moment 7.5. So I've got 2 millimeters to shave off both covers. And I will try to take the bulk of it with a hand plane. And then when they're bound, I will pop them in here and I will sand them flat with a sander with the body, which will give me an absolutely flat surface. So that's the plan. Let's prepare the covers. And what I'll do is I will attach it with the masking tape, the super glue, to the table, straight down to the table, and I will try and plane them down. I'm not sure if that's even going to work. I don't know how well this wood will plane. Also, my plane may not be in good enough condition to do that. We'll see, I guess. I will use my Pope plane. Lovely little thing. It's number 4. Let me just hide the blade a bit. Okay, let's see. Okay, no tear out so far. Doesn't look like it's shaving anything, it's just scraping it at this stage. I think the blade needs some serious sharpening. Yeah, it looks very rough. Let's try and sharpen the blade a bit. Sharpening plane blade. So it is what, 1 hour later maybe? The blade is sharpened, it's far from perfect, as far as I can tell, plain blades shouldn't have teeth. This one does, but it's still shaving the wood nicely. So I'm going to carry on with this, see how far I can get with it. Oh, this is so much better. Sticks. Beautiful. I'm sure my planing technique must look funny to anyone who actually knows how to do that properly. But, well, it works. Okay, I'm going to stop here with this one. Seems to be 6 mil, and the cavity, the ledge, is 5.5. So don't want to go too deep. And the last 0.5 mil can be sanded down when the plate is on the body, so that I can keep one uniform surface. Let's put it on quickly and see what it looks like. Perfect. I could carry on because this end is sticking up higher than that, but I don't want to. I'd rather sand it down, attached to the body, and have just one layer than you know, create divots. Let's do that quickly. I think I can shave off tiny bits of that. I think I'll use superglue to attach the binding. I'm not too worried about superglue seeping into the wood, because I will not be staining these covers. They will be clear as they are now. They will be black on the inside because of the shielding paint, but on the outside they will be clear, so I'm not worried about the superglue as much as I did on the top of the guitar. Well, this is working great. That's amazing. I'm already at 5.5. So I'm going to stop here and see if I didn't go too far. If I did, I can always cut a new one, but I don't think I did. Huh. It's a tiny bit below. Dang. Okay, I'll try to sand it down, because the back will go down anyways. It's like 1/4 mil or even less than that. I'll leave it as is, and this should work out well. But what I have to do now is to attach the binding. And here's the binding. Let's figure it out. So I was thinking about the thickness of this switch cover and how it is tiny bit below the level of the back, and I'm not worried about it at all for two reasons. One is the back will be sanded down anyways, and the other one is that the ledge which this sits on and the cover itself on the inside will be painted with a shielding paint, which is really thick, and it will raise it up by even 1 millimeter in total, so we'll see. It shouldn't be a problem at all. I can always make another one, not a big deal. Right, let's get to gluing the binding on. I think I'm gonna need heat gun for that, because this binding for some reason is just breaking very easily. Okay, it becomes very plastic quickly. Very bendy, so that's very good. I will use some masking tape to hold it in place temporarily, so I can bend it to the size I need. It will be cut oversized and adjusted right before gluing. Plus, I suppose, because I'm going around with it, I'm gonna have to leave a gap, which then will be fixed by melting some binding, like I did on the gap on the neck pocket. Oh, okay. That's melting quickly. Right, so first fail. I pulled the binding when it was hot and it just stretched, so that's no good. Obviously when it's stretching it's getting thinner and it will not have the consistent size all around, so I can't have it stretched. Right, let's get less heat and do it slower. So here I managed to bend it around and taped it up so it stays in this position. I'm going to heat it up slightly so it melts just a bit, becomes soft, and then it hardens in this position. Okay, I think I'll leave it to cool down for a bit and then I'll glue it on with the super glue. This will be tricky, and I'm thinking of gluing the end on first, waiting for it to set and slowly adding bits of beads of glue and sticking on the further parts of the binding, because bending this will be, well, impossible. Let's see if I can do that. I think I can start with gluing the very end, and when it's attached, when it sets, I can add glue further down, but I will leave it and I will hold it in place until it's dry. Actually, that is a bit too much glue, but that's alright. I'm fine with too much glue. Accelerator would be a saver here, but haven't got one. Okay, that is dry. Now, I may need to use this medium thin super glue to wick between the binding and the wood, because this thick one may not be able to squeeze in there. Let's see what that does. Yeah, I think that will be much better. And I can squeeze it with my hands and again wait for it to set. That seems okay. And I'll try to tape it up straight away. And this glue is working very well. Okay, I'll leave it for now, and when it dries a bit, I'll take it apart and see if it's glued correctly. It will be a messy process, and I'm sure I'm going to have to leave the gap at the end and then just patch it with acetone and some melted plastic. But that's all good. Thick one should be fine here. I may need to use the thinner one on the curves just to wick the glue in, but we'll see. Okay, so the curve will need to be thinner. And I'm just pulling it down tight to the curve. And I'll stop taping from this end. And from this now. This hopefully will make sure there are no gaps when I take the tape off. Oh, come on. Okay. Okay, it's been, I don't know, 40 minutes maybe? Let's unpack it and see how it holds up. Okay, this is glued in place nicely. A lot of glue squeezed out here, so it'll be tricky to take that tape off. But overall, a very good result. No gaps, everything's stuck on nicely. This little gap here will be filled in with a acetone and melted plastic. Let's see what it looks like on the body, what those covers look like on the body, and if they fit in at all. Oops. Okay, Nice. Some adjustment is needed because it's just too tight, which is perfect. I'd rather have a too tight of a fit than gaps. So yeah, I will be adjusting this slowly with a scraper, I believe. Maybe, I don't know. But that's the covers. Bound covers. A big step again. Very happy with the result. A lot of work to do still on those covers. They need to be scraped, sanded and finished. And fitted perfectly because yeah, currently they don't fit. But that will come very soon. We're going away for a couple of weeks, so I may not be able to post anything. I may do an odd job here and there in the background if I'm around and if I have time. But I will go back to posting regularly in a couple of weeks probably. And that's it for this week. Thank you so much for sticking around. Thank you for watching. Thank you for all your comments and all your encouragement. Thank you, Adam. That's amazing to read about your build. And I can't wait to see it. So yeah, I will see you in a few weeks. Cheers. Love you, bye.